In the year 2347, humanity stood at a crossroads. For over 2 centuries, Earth had been part of the Galactic Council, an alliance of intelligent species working together to maintain peace and share knowledge across the stars. The Council met on Vega Prime, a vibrant planet known for its shimmering blue skies and towering crystal spires. It was here that Liam Carter spent most of his days, representing Earth as one of its youngest diplomats. Liam was not like many of his colleagues back home. While some humans viewed themselves as superior to other species, Liam believed in the value of cooperation. He admired the diversity of the council members, their languages, their cultures, their unique ways of thinking, and he worked tirelessly to bridge gaps between humanity and its galactic neighbors. But lately, things had grown tense. Whispers of dissatisfaction spread through the council chambers, and Liam could feel the fragile balance of power beginning to crack. The source of this tension came from Earth itself. Back home, a rising political figure named Evelyn Drake had gained immense popularity. She spoke passionately about human independence, arguing that relying on alien alliances weakened Earth's strength. Her speeches were fiery and emotional, appealing to those who felt overshadowed by more advanced civilizations. "We built our future with our own hands," she often declared. "Why should we bow to others now?" Evelyn's words resonated deeply with many people on Earth, especially after decades of struggling to keep pace with faster evolving species. Some humans resented the fact that they needed help from aliens just to survive in space. Others worried that sharing technology and resources might put Earth at risk if relations ever soured. These fears fueled Evelyn's campaign, and soon she found herself leading a movement calling for complete withdrawal from the Galactic Council. On Vega Prime, news of Earth's decision reached Liam during a routine meeting. As he sat among ambassadors from dozens of species, a hush fell over the room. An official announcement had arrived. The United Nations of Terra, UNT, was pulling out of the council effective immediately. No explanations were given, only a curt statement emphasizing humanity's desire for self-reliance. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by murmurs of disbelief and anger. Liam felt his stomach twist. He hadn't seen this coming, at least not so suddenly. He glanced around the chamber, catching glimpses of shocked expressions on the faces of his fellow diplomats. Zara Voss, an ambassador from the aquatic Nereids, locked eyes with him briefly. There was sadness in her gaze, but also disappointment. Liam looked away, unable to hold her stare. After the meeting ended, Liam returned to his quarters, his mind racing. Why would Earth make such a drastic move without consulting its representatives? And why now, when tensions were already high? He tried reaching out to contacts back home, hoping for answers, but communication channels seemed unusually slow. Frustrated, he turned to the few friends he had made on Vega Prime, including Zara. "Do you think your leaders truly believe this is best for your people?" Zara asked gently when they met later that evening. They sat in a quiet corner of the council gardens, surrounded by glowing plants that emitted faint, soothing light. "I don't know what they're thinking," Liam admitted, running a hand through his hair. "But I can tell you this, it's going to cause chaos. Without Earth's participation, the Council won't function the same way. And the rest of the galaxy, they won't trust us anymore." Zara nodded thoughtfully. "Trust is fragile, Liam. Once it's broken, it takes years to rebuild, if it can be rebuilt at all." As the days passed, the fallout from Earth's decision became clear. Alien delegates expressed outrage, accusing humans of betrayal and greed. Trade agreements crumbled, leaving markets in disarray. Ships carrying supplies to Earth were turned away, and diplomatic envoys recalled their staff. Rumors swirled about secret projects hidden beneath Earth's surface, projects involving stolen alien technology. Back on Earth, journalist Clara Bennett picked up on these rumors while investigating a tip-off from an anonymous source. Clara was known for her sharp instincts and relentless pursuit of the truth. Her curiosity led her deep into classified archives, where she uncovered documents, hinting at something alarming. Scientists working under the UNT's military division had been experimenting with alien tech, attempting to reverse engineer it for use in weapons far more powerful than anything currently available. Clara's discovery sent chills down her spine. If these experiments were real, then Earth wasn't simply withdrawing from the Council. It was preparing for war. She pieced together fragments of information, connecting dots that painted a troubling picture. Evelyn Drake's push for isolation suddenly made sense. Perhaps she saw conflict as inevitable and wanted to ensure Earth was ready. Meanwhile, on Vega Prime, Liam struggled to navigate the growing hostility toward humans. Alien delegates avoided speaking with him, and even allies like Zara grew distant. Every attempt he made to explain Earth's position was met with skepticism or outright hostility. He began to question whether he truly understood his own planet anymore. One night, unable to sleep, Liam wandered the empty halls of the council building. The weight of the situation pressed heavily on him. Was there any way to fix this? Could he convince Earth to reconsider before it was too late? Or was humanity doomed to isolate itself, turning its back on the very alliances that had helped it rise among the stars? As dawn broke over Vega Prime, casting golden light across the horizon, Liam realized he couldn't give up. Whatever the cost, he had to find a way to uncover the truth behind Earth's withdrawal and stop the galaxy from descending into chaos. Clara Bennett spent her days chasing shadows. The documents she had uncovered hinted at something vast and dangerous, but piecing together the full picture felt like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. She worked late into the night, in her cramped apartment, surrounded by glowing screens and scattered papers. Her fingers flew over her keyboard as she dug deeper into classified files, searching for anything that could confirm her suspicions about Earth's military experiments. More Clara uncovered, the clearer it became. Evelyn Drake wasn't just advocating for isolation, she was preparing for war. Stolen alien technology had been smuggled into secret facilities hidden beneath remote deserts and frozen tundras. Scientists were working around the clock to adapt this tech for human use, creating weapons far deadlier than anything currently known. Clara knew that if these weapons fell into the wrong hands, or worse, if they were used, it could mean disaster not only for Earth but for the entire galaxy. Determined to expose the truth, Clara reached out to trusted contacts within Earth's underground resistance movement. These were ordinary citizens who opposed Evelyn's policies, risking everything to fight against what they saw as tyranny. One of them, a quiet man named Daniel, agreed to help her infiltrate one of the facilities where the experiments were rumored to take place. Together, they planned a risky mission to gather evidence that would prove beyond doubt what Earth's government was hiding. While Clara worked tirelessly on Earth, Liam Carter faced mounting challenges on Vega Prime. The fallout from Earth's withdrawal continued to ripple through the Galactic Council. Alien delegates openly accused humanity of betrayal, and calls for sanctions grew louder. Some even suggested military action, arguing that Earth posed a threat to galactic stability. Liam found himself caught in the middle, torn between defending his planet and acknowledging the legitimacy of the Council's fears. Zara Voss remained one of the few voices of reason. Unlike many of her colleagues, she believed there was still hope for reconciliation if someone could uncover the real reasons behind Earth's actions. "Something doesn't add up," she told Liam during one of their rare private conversations. "Your leaders wouldn't abandon the Council without cause. There must be more to this story." Liam nodded reluctantly. He wanted to believe Zara was right, but he couldn't shake the feeling that Earth's decision was driven by fear rather than logic. Fear of being overshadowed. Fear of losing control. Fear of trusting others too much. Whatever the motivation, it was tearing apart years of progress. Back on Earth, Clara's investigation began to gain traction. She published an exposé detailing her findings, revealing fragments of information about the secret weapons program. Though she couldn't provide concrete proof yet, the article sparked outrage across the planet. Protests erupted in major cities, with crowds chanting slogans demanding transparency and accountability. Public opinion turned sharply against Evelyn Drake, whose approval ratings plummeted almost overnight. But Evelyn didn't back down. Instead, she doubled down on her rhetoric, framing the protests as attacks on humanity's future. In televised demure speeches, she accused critics of undermining Earth's sovereignty and warned that weakness would leave humanity vulnerable to alien threats. Her words struck a chord with some, particularly those who already distrusted the Galactic Council. For every person outraged by her actions, another stood firmly by her side. As tensions escalated, Clara prepared for her infiltration mission. With Daniel's help, she disguised herself as a maintenance worker assigned to one of the experimental facilities. The base was located deep beneath the scorching sands of a desert region, its existence known only to a select few. Security was tight, with automated drones patrolling the perimeter and biometric scanners guarding every entrance. Getting inside undetected would be nearly impossible, but Clara was determined to try. On the night of the operation, Clara and Daniel approached the facility under cover of darkness. Their hearts raced as they navigated minefields and avoided detection by patrol drones. When they finally reached the main entrance, Daniel used forged credentials to bypass the security checkpoint, while Clara slipped inside unnoticed. Once inside, she moved quickly, planting tiny recording devices in key areas and downloading data from restricted terminals. What she discovered chilled her to the bone. The weapons being developed were unlike anything she'd imagined. Projectiles capable of obliterating entire planets, energy shields designed to repel even the most advanced alien fleets, and machines that could manipulate gravity itself. This wasn't just preparation for war. It was a blueprint for domination. Clara realized that if Evelyn succeeded in deploying these weapons, no species in the galaxy would stand a chance against humanity. Meanwhile, on Vega Prime, Liam received alarming news. Reports surfaced of a mysterious attack on a Nereid colony, ship near Saturn. The vessel had been severely damaged, though no survivors or bodies were found. Suspicion immediately fell on Earth, with many accusing the UNT of testing its new weapons. No evidence directly linked the attack to human forces, but the timing was suspicious enough to fuel paranoia among the alien nations. Liam struggled to defend Earth against the accusations, even as doubts gnawed at him. Could his own people really be responsible for such an act? He tried reaching out to contacts back home, desperate for answers, but communication channels remained frustratingly slow. It seemed as though Earth was deliberately cutting itself off from the rest of the galaxy, further isolating itself, and making reconciliation all the more difficult. Clara managed to escape the facility with the data she had gathered, narrowly avoiding capture as alarms blared behind her. She sent the information to trusted allies within the Resistance, knowing it would soon reach the public. But she also knew that exposing the truth might not be enough to stop Evelyn Drake. The politician's grip on power was strong, and her vision of a self-reliant Earth resonated deeply with many. As Clara watched the first wave of reactions to her leaked data, she felt a mix of hope and dread. People were angry, yes, but anger alone wouldn't undo the damage already done. Earth's withdrawal from the Galactic Council had set events in motion that couldn't easily be reversed. And as distrust spread like wildfire, the possibility of war loomed larger with each passing day. On Vega Prime, Liam braced himself for the worst. He knew that unless something changed, and soon, the galaxy would descend into chaos. Humanity's future hung precariously in the balance, and the choices made in the coming weeks would shape not only Earth's destiny, but the fate of countless other species as well. The galaxy was on edge. Tensions between Earth and the rest of the Galactic Council had reached a boiling point, and every day brought new whispers of conflict. Trade routes that once connected Earth to alien markets were severed. Diplomatic channels fell silent, and skirmishes erupted along humanity's borders. Rumors spread like wildfire about stolen alien technology being turned into weapons of unimaginable power. Fear gripped both sides, and trust, already fragile, shattered completely. On Vega Prime, Liam Carter watched as the council descended into chaos. Alien delegates debated fiercely in emergency sessions, their voices rising in anger and frustration. Some called for immediate sanctions against Earth, demanding reparations for years of perceived arrogance. Others argued for military intervention, convinced that humanity posed too great a threat to ignore. Amid the shouting and accusations, Liam felt increasingly isolated. His attempts to defend Earth only deepened the divide, leaving him alienated by both humans and aliens alike. Zara Voss remained one of the few who still listened to him. Her calm demeanor stood out in the heated council chambers, and she often pulled Liam aside after meetings to talk privately. "You must find out what's really happening," she urged one evening as they walked through the glowing gardens, outside the council building. "If we don't understand why your leaders are doing this, how can we stop it?" Liam nodded, his jaw tight with frustration. He wanted to believe Zara was right, but he didn't know where to start. Earth's government had grown more secretive than ever, cutting off communication with its own representatives on Vega Prime. Even basic updates were delayed or withheld entirely. It was as if someone back home didn't want anyone, not even Liam, to know the truth. Meanwhile, on Earth, Clara Bennett faced mounting pressure. Her expose about the secret weapons program had sent shockwaves across the planet, sparking protests and outrage. But Evelyn Drake showed no signs of backing down. Instead, she framed Clara's revelations as lies meant to destabilize Earth's progress. In televised speeches, Evelyn accused journalists and activists of spreading misinformation and warned that internal dissent would weaken humanity's position in the galaxy. Clara knew she couldn't stop now. With the help of Daniel and other members of the resistance, she continued gathering evidence. They uncovered plans detailing the deployment of prototype weapons within weeks. The target? A key alien stronghold near the edge of human-controlled space. If the attack succeeded, it would send a clear message. Earth was ready to fight and win. Determined to prevent catastrophe, Clara decided to take drastic action. She reached out to trusted allies abroad, including contacts within the Galactic Council. Though communication with Vega Prime was risky, she managed to send encrypted messages containing fragments of her findings. Her goal was simple: expose the truth before it was too late. Back on Vega Prime, Liam received one of Clara's messages late at night. The data confirmed his worst fears. Earth wasn't just preparing for war, it was planning an unprovoked strike. Shocked and horrified, Liam realized he had to act quickly. If the Council learned of the planned attack, they might retaliate preemptively, plunging the galaxy into open warfare. Desperate for answers, Liam devised a plan to return to Earth under the guise of delivering a formal apology to the UNT leadership. In reality, he intended to meet with Clara and uncover the full scope of the weapons program. He knew the journey would be dangerous, but staying silent felt worse. Humanity's future, and the fate of countless species, depended on stopping Evelyn Drake's plans. Before leaving Vega Prime, Liam met with Zara one last time. "I need your help," he admitted, handing her a secure data chip. "If something happens to me, make sure this gets to the Council. It contains everything Clara has uncovered so far." Zara hesitated, her expression troubled. "Be careful, Liam. If the Council learns you're working against your own people—" "I know the risks," Liam interrupted. "But if I don't do this, no one else will." With that, Liam boarded a shuttle bound for Earth. The journey took several days, during which he rehearsed his cover story and prepared for the challenges ahead. When he finally arrived, he found the planet transformed. Cities buzzed with paranoia, streets patrolled by armed guards, and propaganda posters plastered everywhere. Evelyn Drake's influence was undeniable. Clara arranged to meet Liam in a secluded safe house on the outskirts of the capital city. When they finally came face to face, neither spoke for a moment. Then Clara broke the silence. "We don't have much time," she said urgently. "Evelyn is moving forward with the attack. If we don't stop her, it'll be too late." Together, they reviewed the latest intelligence. The prototype weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of destroying entire fleets, was housed in a heavily guarded facility buried beneath a mountain range. Security measures included automated drones, biometric scanners, and elite soldiers trained to respond to any breach. Breaking in would be nearly impossible, but they had no choice. Their plan was risky. Using forged credentials and insider knowledge provided by Daniel, Liam and Clara would pose as technicians assigned to perform routine maintenance on the weapon. Once inside, they would disable the system and broadcast live footage of its existence to the entire galaxy. Their hope was that exposing the weapon's power would force humanity to confront the consequences of its actions and give the Galactic Council reason to pause before retaliating. As they prepared for the mission, tension simmered between them. Both knew the odds were against them, but neither could imagine standing idly by while the galaxy teetered on the brink of war. "If we fail," Clara began, trailing off. "We won't," Liam replied firmly. "We can't." The night of the operation arrived, and Liam and Clara approached the facility under cover of darkness. Rain lashed against their faces as they navigated treacherous terrain, avoiding detection by patrol drones. When they reached the main entrance, Clara used forged credentials to bypass the security checkpoint, while Liam slipped inside unnoticed. Inside, the air was cold and sterile, humming with the sound of machinery. They moved quickly, planting devices to disable the weapon's core systems. As they worked, alarms suddenly blared, red lights flashing across the corridors. Someone had discovered their presence. "Go!" Clara shouted, pushing Liam toward the control room. "I'll hold them off." "No," Liam protested, grabbing her arm. "We stick together." But Clara shook her head, determination etched on her face. "There's no time to argue. Get the footage online, now." Reluctantly, Liam obeyed, sprinting toward the control room as Clara turned to face the approaching guards. Gunfire echoed through the halls as she fought to buy him time. Inside the control room, Liam frantically uploaded the video feed, his hands trembling as he typed. The clock was ticking, and every second felt like an eternity. Finally, the upload completed. Liam activated the broadcast, sending live footage of the weapon and its devastating potential to billions of viewers across the galaxy. As the transmission went live, explosions rocked the facility, shaking the walls around him. Clara's voice crackled over his earpiece. "It's done," she gasped. "Now get out of there." Liam hesitated, torn between escaping and going back for Clara. But the sound of collapsing structures forced his decision. He ran, dodging debris and enemy fire as the facility crumbled behind him. Reaching the surface, he emerged into the rain-soaked night, gasping for breath. Clara appeared moments later, bloodied but alive, and together they fled into the darkness. As dawn broke over the horizon, the galaxy reacted to the broadcast. Outrage swept across alien nations, but so did fear. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, debating whether to launch a preemptive strike against Earth. Meanwhile, protests erupted on Earth itself, with citizens demanding Evelyn Drake's resignation. For Liam and Clara, the battle was far from over. They had exposed the truth, but the consequences of their actions were just beginning to unfold. The galaxy held its breath. The broadcast of Earth's secret weapon had sent shockwaves through every corner of known space. Billions watched as footage of the massive energy cannon filled their screens, its power undeniable and terrifying. For alien species, it was proof that humanity could not be trusted. On Earth, the reaction was mixed. Some were outraged at their government's betrayal, while others doubled down in support of Evelyn Drake's vision of self-reliance. Tensions reached a fever pitch, and the line between diplomacy and war grew thinner with each passing hour. On Vega Prime, the Galactic Council convened in an emergency session. Delegates from across the galaxy crowded into the council chambers, their voices rising in anger and fear. Some called for immediate military action against Earth, arguing that humanity's aggression left them no choice but to strike first. Others urged caution, warning that an attack would only escalate the conflict and lead to unimaginable destruction. Zara Voss stood quietly among the chaos, her expression calm but troubled. She knew the decision made here would shape the future of the galaxy and possibly destroy it. Liam Carter sat in the back of the chamber, his heart pounding. He had returned to Vega Prime after narrowly escaping the facility with Clara. Though they had succeeded in exposing the weapon, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that their actions might have only hastened the coming storm. He watched as Zara stepped forward to address the council, her voice steady despite the turmoil around her. "We cannot act out of fear," Zara said, her words cutting through the noise. If we strike Earth now, we become no better than those who created this weapon. Let us give humanity a chance to change course to show they are willing to work toward peace. Her pleas sparked a heated debate. Many delegates argued that Earth had already shown its true colors by withdrawing from the Council and developing such a weapon. Others agreed with Zara, believing that giving humanity one last chance might prevent further bloodshed. In the end, the Council voted to delay any military action, but only for a short time. If Earth did not respond with meaningful steps toward reconciliation, the decision would shift to war. Back on Earth, Evelyn Drake faced mounting pressure. Protests erupted in cities worldwide, with citizens demanding answers about the weapon and her leadership. Her approval ratings plummeted, and even some of her closest allies began to distance themselves. Yet Evelyn refused to back down. Instead, she framed the protests as evidence of internal weakness, accusing dissenters of undermining humanity's strength. In a fiery speech, she declared that Earth would not bow to alien threats. Clara Bennett continued her fight against Evelyn's regime. With the help of Daniel and other members of the resistance, she worked tirelessly to keep the public informed. They distributed videos, articles, and leaked documents, exposing the full extent of the UNT's plans. Clara knew that time was running out. If Evelyn managed to deploy the weapon, it would spark a war that no one could win. But stopping her seemed almost impossible. Security forces cracked down on protests, arresting anyone suspected of opposing the government. Fear spread like wildfire, silencing many who might have spoken out. Meanwhile, Liam found himself caught between two worlds. On Vega Prime, he was seen as a traitor by some for his role in exposing Earth's secrets. Back home, he was labeled a coward for leaving when his planet needed him most. Despite the criticism, Liam remained determined to find a way to bridge the gap between humanity and the rest of the galaxy. He reached out to Zara, asking for her help in drafting a proposal for Earth's reintegration into the Council, but under strict conditions designed to ensure transparency and cooperation. Zara agreed, seeing it as the best chance for peace. Together, they crafted a plan that included independent oversight of Earth's military programs, open trade agreements, and regular diplomatic exchanges. It was a risky proposal, one that required Earth to admit wrongdoing and submit to foreign scrutiny, but both Liam and Zara believed it was the only path forward. As the Council debated the proposal, Evelyn prepared for the worst. She ordered increased security around key facilities, including the prototype weapon. Though damaged during Clara and Liam's infiltration, engineers worked around the clock to repair it. Evelyn intended to use the weapon as leverage, threatening to deploy it if the Council moved against Earth. Her gamble was dangerous, but she saw no other way to maintain control. Clara and Daniel learned of Evelyn's plans through a mole within the UNT. Knowing they had to act quickly, they devised a desperate strategy. Using stolen credentials and insider knowledge, they infiltrated the facility where the weapon was being repaired. Their goal was simple: destroy the weapon before it could be used. But getting inside would be nearly impossible, especially with heightened security measures in place. The night of the operation, rain poured down in sheets, drenching Clara and Daniel as they approached the facility. Drones patrolled the perimeter, their red lights scanning the darkness. Armed guards stood at every entrance, alert and ready for trouble. Clara took a deep breath, her mind racing through the plan. One mistake, and everything would fall apart. Using forged IDs, Clara posed as a senior engineer assigned to oversee repairs. Daniel, disguised as a maintenance worker, carried tools needed to disable the weapon. They passed through the first checkpoint without incident, though Clara's heart raced as a guard scrutinized her credentials. Inside, the facility buzzed with activity. Technicians worked frantically to repair the damaged components, unaware of the danger lurking nearby. Clara and Daniel split up, each moving toward their assigned tasks. Clara planted explosive charges along critical systems, ensuring the weapon would never function again. Daniel disabled surveillance cameras and hacked into the facility's mainframe, erasing evidence of their presence. As they worked, alarms suddenly blared, signaling a breach. Someone had discovered them. "Go," Daniel shouted, pushing Clara toward the exit. "I'll hold them off." "No," Clara protested, grabbing his arm. "We're getting out of here together." But Daniel shook his head, determination etched on his face. "There's no time. Get out now." Reluctantly, Clara obeyed, sprinting toward the exit as gunfire erupted behind her. Tears streamed down her face as she ran, knowing Daniel had sacrificed himself to buy her time. Reaching the surface, she emerged into the stormy night, gasping for breath. Explosions rocked the facility moments later, lighting up the sky in a fiery blaze. Back on Vega Prime, Liam waited anxiously for news. When Clara finally contacted him, her voice was raw with emotion. "It's done," she whispered. "The weapon is gone." Though relieved, Liam knew the battle wasn't over. Evelyn's grip on power remained strong, and the Council's patience was wearing thin. Humanity's future depended on whether Earth could prove it was willing to change or face the consequences of its actions. The destruction of the prototype weapon marked a turning point, but it was far from the end. The galaxy remained on edge and tensions continued to simmer. On Vega Prime, the Galactic Council debated humanity's fate with renewed urgency. Delegates were divided. Some saw the sabotage as proof that not all humans supported Evelyn Drake's aggressive policies, while others viewed it as further evidence of Earth's unpredictability. Liam Carter stood in the middle of it all, trying to convince both sides that there was still hope for reconciliation. Liam presented the proposal he had drafted with Zara Voss to the Council. It outlined strict conditions for Earth's reintegration into the coalition, including independent oversight of military programs, open trade agreements, and mandatory diplomatic exchanges. The plan also called for Evelyn Drake's removal from power, a demand that sparked heated arguments among delegates. Some believed it was too lenient, while others thought it went too far. Despite the disagreements, the Council eventually agreed to give Earth one final chance. If its leaders accepted the terms within 48 hours, war would be avoided. Back on Earth, chaos reigned. News of the destroyed weapon spread quickly, and protests erupted across the globe. Citizens demanded answers, accusing Evelyn Drake of leading them toward disaster. Her once unshakable confidence began to crack under the weight of public pressure. Even her closest allies abandoned her, fearing association with her increasingly unpopular regime. Yet Evelyn refused to surrender. In a defiant speech broadcast worldwide, she dismissed the Council's demands as an insult to humanity's sovereignty. "They want to control us," she declared, her voice trembling with anger. "But we will not bow to their threats. Earth stands alone, and together we will show the galaxy what it means to face our strength." Her words rallied some, but many more turned against her. Resistance movements gained momentum, organizing mass demonstrations in major cities. Clara Bennett played a key role in these efforts, using her platform to expose Evelyn's lies and rally support for change. She worked tirelessly alongside Daniel's surviving comrades, determined to ensure his sacrifice wasn't in vain. Together, they pushed for a peaceful resolution, urging the UNT to accept the Council's terms before it was too late. As the deadline approached, Liam returned to Earth under the guise of delivering the Council's ultimatum. He knew the journey was risky. Evelyn's forces were cracking down on dissenters, arresting anyone suspected of opposing her rule. But Liam couldn't stay away. He needed to see his home one last time, to witness firsthand whether humanity would choose peace or destruction. Upon arriving, Liam sought out Clara. They met in secret, hiding in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the capital city. The air was thick with tension as they discussed their next steps. "We have to make them listen," Clara said, her voice firm despite the exhaustion etched on her face. "If Evelyn refuses to step down, the Council will strike, and millions will die." "I know," Liam replied, his expression grim. "But how do we get through to her? She's blinded by pride." Clara hesitated, then nodded toward a folder on the table. Inside were documents detailing Evelyn's misuse of resources, corruption within her administration, and evidence linking her directly to the stolen alien technology. "This might be enough," she said. "If we release this to the public, it could force her out of power." Liam studied the papers, his mind racing. It was a dangerous gamble. Revealing the information could spark even greater unrest, possibly tipping Earth into civil war. But keeping silent risked something worse: total annihilation at the hands of the Galactic Council. With no other options left, they decided to act. That night, Clara uploaded the documents to every major news outlet and social media platform. Within hours, the story exploded, dominating headlines across the planet. The revelations shocked the world, stripping away Evelyn's carefully constructed image of strength and leadership. Public outrage reached a fever pitch, with crowds storming government buildings and demanding her resignation. Cornered and betrayed by her own people, Evelyn finally stepped down, disappearing into obscurity. With Evelyn gone, the UNT scrambled to regain control. A provisional government was formed, led by moderates who pledged to work toward peace. They accepted the Council's terms, agreeing to submit to oversight and begin rebuilding trust with the galaxy. The announcement came just hours before the deadline expired, narrowly averting catastrophe. On Vega Prime, the Council breathed a collective sigh of relief. Though wary of humanity's intentions, they welcomed Earth back into the fold, albeit under strict supervision. Liam returned to his role as Earth's representative, tasked with overseeing the implementation of the new agreements. It was a daunting responsibility, but he approached it with determination, knowing how much was at stake. Clara stayed on Earth, continuing her work as a journalist. She documented the challenges of reintegrating into the galactic community, shining a light on both progress and setbacks. Her articles inspired hope, reminding readers that even after great mistakes, redemption was possible. Months passed, and slowly, relations between Earth and the rest of the galaxy began to mend. Trade routes reopened, cultural exchanges resumed, and tentative friendships formed where distrust had once festered. The scars of the crisis remained, but so did the lessons learned. Humanity had come dangerously close to destroying itself, and countless others, but it had chosen a different path. As Liam stood on a balcony overlooking Vega Prime's shimmering skyline, he reflected on how far they had come. The road ahead would be long and difficult, filled with challenges yet unseen. But for the first time in months, he allowed himself to feel a glimmer of hope. Perhaps, he thought, humanity could learn to stand not as conquerors but as equals among the stars. Far away on Earth, Clara watched the sunrise over a quiet park. She thought about Daniel and all those who had given everything to stop the weapon. Their sacrifices had not been in vain. They had saved billions of lives and offered humanity a second chance. As the golden light bathed the city, Clara felt a quiet resolve settle over her. The galaxy was fragile, yes, but it was also resilient. And as long as there were people willing to fight for peace, it would endure.